Give me my theme music!
What's up, Buff Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, and welcome into our Friday afternoon show. Before we get started, of course, make sure you hit that like and are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate you guys for joining me on this Friday. Not much happening in the world of the Colorado Buffaloes, but I thought I would get on because in the last 48 hours, 72 hours or so, the Buffs have been doing a lot of offering for players, including one player that I want to highlight and take a dive into because it's very interesting on the timing of said person being offered and what's kind of going on in the college recruiting world. The biggest thing that I want to talk about today is I think a lot of people, I think even including myself, I forget at times, just how important getting Julian Lewis on this team is going to mean for the future of recruiting for Colorado, and why, well, a lot of us have high expectations, right, for this upcoming season for the Buffs. We have a lot of high expectations that Colorado is going to, compete at the top of the conference, going to get at minimum 6-7 wins, maybe 9-10 wins, and have a chance to go to the Big 12 championship. That's what a lot of fans are kind of expecting from this season. But on the flip side of that, not saying that the Buffs are going to struggle or that they're not going to win very many games. I also would like to highlight that I think this year should also somewhat be considered a rebuilding year. We are working towards players solidifying their spots. We are working with a lot of young players on the roster who are looking to step up and become full-time players on this team. And the biggest thing that I think we need to look at is the fact is the recruiting is going to be the most important to where the team goes long-term and whether or not this team does turn into a perennial national championship college playoff contender each and every season. So while I think most of us are pretty realistic, where we're like, okay, 6-7 wins would be good, 9-10 wins and maybe go to the Big 12 championship would be an excellent season. I saw somebody say that Colorado fans are delusional and they think that they're national championship contenders. I'm not putting Colorado in the national championship contender bucket yet. Okay. I think a lot of us are pretty realistic that obviously you have a chance to go to the playoffs if you make it to your conference championship. Obviously the Big 12 is somewhat wide open, and I feel like anything can happen in this league. We look at last year's predictions as far as how the conference was supposed to end, and it completely flipped itself on its head. So to say that the Big 12 is the easiest conference or an easy conference to predict is just absolutely crazy. So there's that. But on the other side, I think a lot of us Buffs fans can be realistic when we say, do we expect the Buffs to be shooting for a national championship? Do we have that expectation of this team to do that this upcoming year? Depends. But the fact is that this is the first step in towards many steps. And the biggest piece of that really kind of signaled and directed us in that direction is Julian Lewis. And I don't think we give enough credit, or we kind of glaze over or maybe overlook the fact that Julian Lewis is on this team and what it means for the future of this program. We're starting to see it more with the 2026 class. Okay. We're starting to see it more with the 2026 class. We're starting to see players who are clearly bringing up the fact that they're interested in Colorado, not just for Coach Prime. Obviously, that is a huge reason that you even look at us. But the fact that Colorado has a guy like Julian Lewis on the roster with the quarterback position kind of set up. And it starts with kind of what we talked about last weekend, Shedeur and Morgan, 5-star recruit who came on his official visit, absolutely loved Colorado. And every recruiting analyst out there in the national media, Wilt Fong, any of the local guys, they're all talking about how Julian Lewis is probably the most exciting aspect to Colorado and why he would want to come play at Colorado. And in all honesty, why I think Colorado stands a very good chance at getting a Shedeur and Morgan to come join Colorado, because I believe that he sees pairing up with Julian Lewis as a way for them to kind of form this 1-2 punch that would be recognizable and be available on the national scale. So I think that is where we need to look at that. Okay. Now, that is the absolute one that I think is yes. Now, the other one is, and I want to talk about it again, I don't think that it's a for sure thing, mind you. Okay. I think I wanted to talk about this one a little bit more just because of the timing of it. Okay. The fact that Colorado has offered Xavier Griffin, 5-star linebacker who just decommitted from USC, obviously had some ties to Julian Lewis, because at the time that Xavier Griffin committed was around the time that Julian Lewis went on his official visit to USC, was committed to USC. So there is a little bit of connection there. And obviously, if Xavier Griffin wants to come in and start right away, Colorado has the openings and the gaps for a player of his caliber to come in and start day one next season. Okay. So the fact that we offered, that's something to keep kind of paying attention to. But that isn't what I really wanted to talk about on today's show, by the way. I wanted to mention it happening, wanted to mention kind of my thoughts on Xavier Griffin being offered. But what I really want to focus on is just the mass amount of offers that Colorado is starting to put out and what some of the players are saying when it comes to those offers. But I also want to get your guys' opinions. So let me know in the chat, out of all of the offers that you guys are seeing recently in the last couple of days, for those of you who are kind of tied into the recruiting landscape and pay attention on that big of a level, okay, who are some of the players that are kind of impressing you that we're offering, players you would like to prioritize as far as Colorado needs to go after them hard, and just your overall overlook of the 2027, 2026 class and what you guys are looking to see out of Coach Prime and Colorado moving forward. Okay. D-Nice, 2 of the 3 years we hope Juju is at CU should be in contention for Big 12 chips and CFP, or it may be a failure. Absolutely. If Julian Lewis is in his sophomore, junior year, those should be our prime seasons to get things accomplished here at CU. They're going to be years that recruits are going to flock in to play with Julian Lewis, just like they did to play with Shedeur Sanders. And they're going to be Julian Lewis's prime years, hopefully, at Colorado, with the junior year capping off what should be the absolute best potential season that he can be. Okay? And so that's going to tell you a lot. I think next year is going to be way bigger than this year. Okay? Way bigger when it comes to the high school recruits that we bring in. Way bigger when it comes to the transfer players that we end up bringing in at that point. Okay? Because if we can build off of the Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter years and still put together a solid campaign this upcoming year, with the knowledge that Julian Lewis is going to take things over after that, I think then the hope and the idea is that next year should carry that momentum in, and we should really see a jump next year compared to any other year at Colorado so far under Coach Prime. Next year should be that massive jump to that next level where we're being projected to be one of the top teams in the Big 12. We're being projected and potentially even a top 25 team entering the season, depending on what happens this year and what happens in recruiting. Those are all things that I want to see happen as we go into next year already. Again, me looking ahead, jumping ahead, looking at that season. But we can do that right now when things are slow. Not much is going on in the sense of actual recruiting. Not much is going on because the team is on break right now. Those are all things that we can talk about at this time. So we need to keep adding high-end tight ends, so we'll never run the 4-receiver chunk and dunk ever again. Lewis will get his head torn off if we try that again. Absolutely agree, Gear. Absolutely agree. They're loaded up talent for Juju to succeed in 26 and beyond. Absolutely. Russ, do you believe the Netflix Coach Prime that comes out next year will boost recruiting? I have a feeling there will be some who look and say, I have to be there. I mean, we already get that now, Eric, with the Amazon show. Like, there's already a lot of access for players to be able to see what goes on behind the scenes at Colorado. Okay, besides getting to visit there in person. And what I love to see about the recruits who are visiting Colorado right now, they all are saying the same thing. You know, the actual visit and being there physically in person has gone beyond their expectations as far as what they expect it to be. Okay, compared to what they see. What they see is just a small taste of what it's like. You get a small taste of everything. But I will say, one of the biggest things that you will never get on a well-off video, even when they do show it, is the scenery, is the atmosphere in Boulder. Just how beautiful of a place it is to live. And again, no offense to anybody else out there, and anybody who's been to Boulder can probably chime in with this too, to kind of back me up. But most of these kids are coming from very interesting rural type areas or very urban type areas, cityscapes, you know, the Atlanta, Georgias, you know, major metropolitan area. You got a very specific scenery that you're going to see there, or in the South, or in Florida. Obviously, yes, you have the beaches. And while I love a good beach every now and then, like, there's just something about looking out and seeing those mountains on a daily basis. But on top of that, just what a wonderful city Boulder really is. The amenities that it has available, the just cleanliness of the city of Boulder, just everything that it brings. That's another aspect that a lot of players don't get until they get the official visit. Now, they're going to be already interested because it's Coach Prime. It's, you know, the lights and glamour. You're seeing the national scale that is showing Boulder constantly. But then you get to go and actually see it for yourself. And it does make a big difference with most people. Most people who get to see Boulder in person come away saying the same things. They can't believe what a great place it is. They can't believe how beautiful it is. They can't believe how safe it feels and how connected the community is. You will get recognized in Boulder being a CU football player at this point. You will get that attention that you might seek. All of that is there when it comes to being a part of the Buffs, and it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, okay? Let's see what else you guys got to say. CU has the openings. The issue is Coach Hart locking down Blue Chippers linebacker. We'll have to see what happens with that. Offensive linemen, always Deacon and Breck. Trenches should be the main focus for the high school. Can't keep going portal for O-linemen. And they're starting to build it up. We just don't want them to start. I don't want Chauncey Gooden starting his freshman year. I don't want Cardi Smith starting his freshman year if we can avoid it. Most schools out there, freshmen are not starting as offensive linemen. They are fine with sitting for a year and then getting a chance to start depending on how their development goes. Most guys who leave, you know, those blue blood programs who are freshmen, didn't play, and they're going elsewhere, were most likely told by the university, you're not going to start this upcoming year either. You have not developed quick enough to do that. And so if you want to start at this point as a sophomore, you're going to need to go elsewhere. You're going to need to bounce lower to where there's less competition. That's what's happening right now in college football, guys. Otherwise, the linemen are sticking around a lot longer than, guys who aren't. And yes, we lost some of those quote unquote sophomore linemen, but where they were at in their development, they may not have been ready to start this year as a sophomore. And so we're kind of giving that same message to them of, hey, you probably need to go somewhere else and get some tape. Because as a lot of college football analysts will say, and not like the ESPN guys, I mean like ex-players, I mean like, all that. Within 2 years of being in college, you need to have tape. If you go 2 years of college football and you have absolutely no tape and all you have is practice film, you are not going anywhere. Okay? Look at the guys who have left Colorado who have no tape. Look where they end up. 9 times out of 10, they are ending up at a very low-level program where they're expected to go compete for a starting spot and hopefully get some tape at that point. But if you have 2 years, of no game film, you are in trouble when it comes to high-level college football. You have a mighty hill to climb. Not saying it can't be done, just saying that the hill is very difficult to climb. I have concerns about Coach Hart. He has had his shots and sealing the deal, couldn't do it. Other position groups are getting it, but not linebacker. Coach Falk gets a pass because he just got here. And I would agree with that, Eric. I would agree. I would hope that Coach Hart is somewhat under the hot seat. Okay? We're not recruiting the linebackers like we should. We're bringing them in. He's not closing. I don't know who's expected to close. I don't know what Coach Prime's expectations are. Okay? Until something happens, we won't know the true feelings there. We really won't. So we can all speculate on who's the final call and who's the culprit and reason behind this. We absolutely can. But unfortunately, we don't have a look into the behind the scenes to truly know. Yeah, it's easy to just say it is absolutely Coach Hart. He's the linebackers coach. We're not succeeding at the linebackers. We're not succeeding at recruiting that position. We obviously need linebackers, and Coach Prime even said we were going to add linebackers, and we still have not added any linebackers. And on top of that, we're not closing on the high school linebacker recruits. We got Mantrez Walker in, but even then, I don't believe he was a Hart guy when he got recruited to Colorado. We couldn't close on NOB. I think that was a mistake on NOB's part, but if he truly just didn't want to come because of like Coach Hart or something else, that's understandable. But I have a feeling he'll be in the portal when everything is said and done at some point. So the question is for an Xavier Griffin, what do you expect out of your play? What do you feel your skill set is? You just decommitted from USC. What are you looking for? We don't know just yet. Linebackers would be nice. See, you had 2 of the 10 Butkus Award winners during the 90s. Linebackers back then used to crush people. Linebackers is a very important and often overlooked position on the defense, guys. You go a long way with the linebackers because they're going to help you out on both the pass coverage and also the run stopping. If you've got guys up front that can at minimum hold their blocks and plug holes, then the linebackers can reign free to, find the running backs, find the quarterback, all of those things. 2026 recruiting class is going to have 25 kids. Northside, I believe that. I really do. With the amount of kids that we're offering, the amount of kids we're bringing on OVs. Mind you that right now, scheduled, so all future and all people who have already visited, we have a record number of official visits compared to previous years, and they've been slightly going up each and every year. Now, do I think we'll get 25 kids? I think we'll be more in between 20 and 25. I don't think we'll get as high as 25, but I think we will get close to 20, if not more, as far as high school recruits go. But it is going to go up a little bit, I think, just based on the activity we're seeing from the team. The CU visits are intriguing them until they go on an official visit to blue blood programs. I don't think that's true. We've seen that in prior years. Yeah, I didn't say it did. I didn't say that these kids are choosing Boulder just because of scenery. Again, you ignore a lot of the things I say and jump to specific conclusions that happen to help your narrative when you comment things. I'm not saying that that's the closer. I'm saying that they're already close to committing to Colorado when they come on that visit because Coach Prime doesn't mess around when it comes to official visits. Okay? He doesn't mess around. There is a percentage of players that do commit on official visits. That tells you a lot. It's not like Colorado is having 100 kids on official visits and paying for them to be here like some blue blood programs are. Okay? That's not happening. The kids they bring in on OVs, it's for a very specific reason. Very specific reason. I'm just saying that when they get here, they're usually surprised at just how nice of a place it is to live. Okay, they're already leaning this way somewhat. And then whatever happens on that visit, whatever conversation that has in regards to money, in regards to position, in regards to how they will be used, that is also part of closing that deal. It's okay to say it from the hood. It's okay. Hey, I mean, I will, but I also know other people have better opinions on that than I do. I'll admit it. I don't live in the hood. Okay. I don't come from the hood. So for me to, speak about something above my privilege, it's just something I don't like to do is all. I prefer other people who have that straight experience to be able to say, yeah, you're right. I'm from this place in the country and I went to a CU game and I was very pleasantly surprised about Boulder. There's that. More linebackers, D-lines, all we need now. Yeah, that is the focus that we still need to bring in something there. Coach Prime going to receive a BET awards. He should have Seaton or Juju to present him with the award. That's going to boost recruitment. Anything on national TV is going to help with that. If CU had the donors of a blue blood, that'd be much. Again, I'm not going to go back through that. I talk about this every single time. It is not about the amount of money. It is not about the amount of money. What do you not understand? Every day you come into the chat and bring up that we don't have money. We have money. Coach Prime does not want to utilize it like that. He does not believe in that. He wants a specific type of player who is not solely focused on the money that they are receiving. And we're seeing the fruits of that right now with the guys that are going to the NFL. That is the type of player he wants. He wants the player that is going to come in, work their ass off, and realize that, yes, I'm going to make money, but I don't need that much money when I can make it in the NFL because Coach Prime's going to put me in a good position, and we're seeing it right now. I'm sorry. We're literally seeing the blueprints happen. We saw it a little bit last year, okay? You got a guy like Xavier Weaver who probably would not have sniffed the NFL if not for coming to Colorado. And now he's starting to kind of blossom. And then you got the rookies this year with a Jimmy Horn, who is the talk of the town in Carolina. They talk about him more than Teteroa McMillan because of the type of kid that he is, the work that he is putting in at the next level. He is not missing this opportunity. He is studying the playbook. He is learning the plays. He is working his butt off. He is utilizing his speed. Teams are starting to get a reputation for what a Colorado player is that no other university is going to have to the same extent. And that's just the way it is. And that's what Coach Prime is looking for. He is, again, every day, we're not looking for players who just want the highest pay. If you're going to say, hey, Ohio State's offering me this, what do you guys offer me? The answer is nothing. If you want us to get in a bidding war, go to Ohio State. That's fine. I hope your career works out for you. I hope you're making the right decision. We will move on. We will move on. So there's that. Oh, man. Based on what the linebacker at IMG said this past weekend, Coach Hart is a hell of a coach and very smart. I mentioned that previously on stream, and I think that got overlooked a lot. As much as you guys might hate it, he did say that he liked his best part about the trip was Coach Hart. So there's that. If I'm Coach Prime, I might have a Ray Lewis on speed dial. Sorry, might be a long shot, but he'd be first on my list. If we're looking for a linebackers coach later on, absolutely, that's your number one call. And Coach Prime has a couple connections to some pretty high-level linebackers. Maybe they aren't pushing the narrative because almost any linebacker can eat behind this projected D-line. I think they do like what they have in Hughes and French. I do. And that's fine. That could very well be the truth when it comes to the linebackers. I'm just saying, You were making a general statement about official visits. Let's see. When are we back on the field? I believe we're a little less than now a month away. A recruit or a player posted on their socials when they be back in Boulder. And it was like at the beginning of this week, it was like a month away. So you're looking at probably the middle of June. Comprehension is killing this society. Trust me, it kills me. It kills me. Nah, CU has the money. I believe it. And see, if TK believes it, you know that that's saying something too. A lot of people understand what's going on at CU. They're not just, again, going to throw the money at any old player. Okay? They want a specific thing. And if the player is going to say, hey, you know, this team's offering me this, what are you going to offer me, and try and play against each other? Nah, nope, we don't play that game. We want you to be here because you want to be here, and then we'll pay you. There's a difference in that type of player. And those type of players are going to be what helps us get to the mountaintop quicker. Blue Bloods can afford to just throw around bags because they have that name, image, they have the reputation, they have the reputation with the NFL, so they've got that part kind of taken care of, and they're just kind of competing against one another. Teams like us, teams like Indiana, you know, these new upcoming teams that are trying to compete with the Blue Bloods have to do things differently. Coach Prime's not going to do in-home visits. If in the event he does, he's not leaving without a commitment in hand. He's just not going to do it. Just not. And that's the whole point. We're not going to waste our time and resources when we want to commit our resources to very specific things. It is literally reported months ago that CU had top 25 NIL money value. You're not doing the research. Coach Prime wants you to work. The money's going to come later. These kids don't know how to manage money at this time. Didn't hire the Gold Jackets to recruit. It shouldn't be about the players' ranking, but the skill set they bring as individuals. And that's another thing. Great point, Northside. I absolutely love this. We don't talk about it enough when it comes to recruiting. Stars are technically pointless. Stars are technically pointless. They are something for schools to tout. They are something for us to talk about. They are something for recruiting services to exist. But go back and look. How many five-star players fail each and every year? I would love to see a percentage of that, of how many five stars each and every year end up being top college football players. I wouldn't hesitate to bet that it's somewhere like 60% don't pan out. You know? So it's not so much about that. You look at a player. I mean, let's look at our roster right now. And let's look at players that we know are probably going to end up great players. And we're like, why aren't you rated higher? It doesn't make sense to us. You have all the intangibles. Why is it just not happening? And so there's that's happening all over the country. Okay. Lowest rated Heisman winners. I want to see what that looks like. Lowest rated recruits out of high school Heisman winners. I just want to see what this looks like. You know, Joe Burrow, 3-star prospect. Okay. Kyler Murray was a 4-star prospect. Sam Bradford was a 3-star prospect. Okay. Johnny Manziel was a 5-star. Okay. Obviously. So just looking at even some of that, that's just something interesting to look at. So last 15 5-stars. Okay. Kyler Murray was a 4-star. Derrick Henry, what was he at? 12th overall recruit in the 2013 class. Jameis Winston, number 1 rated quarterback. Cam Newton, number 2, dual threat quarterback. Tim Tebow, obviously. Okay, here we go. 4 stars, Joe Burrow, RG3, Mark Ingram, Troy Smith. 3 stars, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Marcus Mariota, Johnny Manziel, Sam Bradford. That's just to name a few of how this works. So Northside, I think you're hitting a thing clean on the head. You got to find the right player who's going to come to college and succeed and show up. Now, not to drag his name, because again, I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing. But Cormani McClain, okay, one of the top recruits in his class, 5-star corner. We thought that this was it. Yes, we did it, guys. We got a top recruit to come to CU. Everything's going to be better. Our defense is going to be amazing. And what happened? It takes him 3 years to develop into a player that can play at a top level. And we still don't even know what's going to happen on the actual field. Okay, we're just going based off what we're hearing this offseason and how Florida is high on him now. But 3 years for a 5-star to develop when we had a player like Jordan Seaton come in year 1 and be a big-time player. That is what we're trying to find out, okay? Seaton did not just come for the money. Oh, he did not. Absolutely, that is a fact. He could have got more elsewhere. That has been readily talked about. Readily talked about. You guys got it. You're getting it now. You're absolutely getting it. Okay? Hey, it's almost the weekend, Keith. We're gonna be having a good weekend for sure. Okay? TK, I mean, I could see that. I'm sure if Vegas were taking bets on that particular thing, we'd probably be looking like it would be favoring the fact that he wouldn't be sticking around much longer. Yep, you don't have an eye for talent. I love it, Northside. I absolutely love it. Coach Prime's going to draw a crowd and attention wherever he is at doing that in-home visit. Jonathan Vilma could be a high one. I saw what he had to say this week. I think that could be something to pay attention to as well. Darren, we've talked about this a lot. I'm giving Shermer 1 year. I'm giving him another year to kind of prove that the past few years were, an offense being run off the fact that we had Shedeur and Travis. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to have to be proven this year, guys, in year 3. If you guys remember, I mean, before the age of the transfer portal, most coaches got 4 years to prove what they were able to do at a specific school before you really start looking at the evaluation of what they're doing. Now, Coach Prime in general, excellent job. He's turned around the team. But there has been some certain positions that have been questionable and some things that have been questionable. The play calling, which we know Coach Prime is not fully in charge of the play calling. So we're not going to do that. So that's on Shermer, okay? I'm giving him another year to kind of prove that. Everybody right now with Coach Hart and just how the linebacker room has been able to be put together and been able to retain players and been able to recruit players. We're on 3 years of it not looking great. So you have to wonder if he's on the hot seat at all, okay? Elsewhere, I mean, there's a lot of positions. I mean, Coach Flea was for a long time. People questioned him similar to Hart, and somehow he ended up getting pushed out. We don't know the true story with what happened with that. A lot of people speculated it was health, but Coach Flea's now coaching the running backs at Wyoming. So it definitely wasn't health that stopped him from coaching. It was something else. So there's that as well. Don't forget Salter's little bro. Kylan's going to be good, guys. We can't not think that he's going to be there. Home visit's not that serious right now. We're getting talent on campus without them. And we're getting commitments without them, guys. We got Julian Lewis without an in-home visit that so many people, including plenty of people in this chat, were clamoring for last summer to close the deal and thought that, we will never close on Julian Lewis because we don't go in person, blah, blah, blah. Everybody was saying that. And, look at what we did. Look at the IMG kids that committed. Look at Julian Lewis. Like, our 2025 class is actually pretty strong, guys. It is. It's not deep in the sense that there's a lot of players, but it is in the sense of skilled players that are probably going to have a big impact on this team moving forward. Okay? That's where that's at. Cam Ward was a 0-star, correct. That's true too. Hughes and French will be better overall linebackers this year than Nakai Hill, Green, and Bentley. As great as they were in the run, they were just okay defending passes. And I will say that Hughes and French are stronger in the pass game, maybe a little weaker in the run game than Nakai Hill, Green, and Bentley were. But Nakai Hill, Green, and Bentley were mostly and strictly run stoppers when it came to linebackers. Jake Krull, I think we're high on Jake Krull's list. I think Krull is high. I think Shedeur and Morgan is high. I think Deacon and Breck are high. I think out of those four, I think those are guys that we're probably very high on. Obviously, we just got Gavin Mueller to commit. We'll have to see if we can keep him stuck to the team and committed. So that's where we're at. Okay, that's where we're at. I'm late. What up, Russ? What up, Chad? Appreciate you dropping by, King John. Just talking about recruiting, what it's looking like for Colorado, what to look at going forward, and to really talk with you guys on what's going on. Okay. Heart of Sports. When you're listing out this, is this list of priorities, or is this list of what you think as far as who's high on Colorado's list? One thing people don't understand, if you come to CU, you'll get a lot of real NIL money. The money will find you at CU unlike any other program in the country, and that is correct. Shedeur Sanders was the first Nike athlete for a college player, okay? Nobody from Oregon is a quote-unquote straight-up Nike athlete. Shedeur was the first. That was a little surprising to me when I heard that, especially with the fact that Oregon is a Nike school. Little bit surprising on that. A lot of people said that Deion wasn't getting rid of Coach Flea either. Coach Flea and Hart were all three like tied at the hips. And so people are a little bit surprised when it comes to that. Jake Krull, Deacon Schmidt, KJ, Sedarian, Dorian Barney. That's another one. Yes, he is absolutely tied. And then Forkpa should be prioritized. I would agree on that. Absolutely. Let's see. Rodney says KJ, Cullajay, Deacon, Morgan, and the cornerback, Dorian Barney. I think those are all guys that have very likelihood of committing to Colorado. I think everybody else, we're kind of on the outside looking in, the late guys that get added, the 5-star linemen that we've been going after recently. I would agree on that. Appreciate you, Northside, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate your insight today. Been very, very, very well done and said, if we're being absolutely honest there. Look at Walker Anderson, UCLA tackle freshman. He's transferring. Yeah, I saw that he entered the portal. Something to be very interesting to look at. I don't know if we're going to need many more offensive linemen. I think they're going to focus on linebacker and defensive line at this point, maybe corner as well. They've been offering a lot of transfer portal corners. We had 2 come on a visit, but we haven't heard anything about that. Usually doesn't necessarily mean anything just yet. Boulder about to come up with a Morgan burger for Sedarian Morgan commit. Absolutely should happen. Absolutely should happen. When we make the playoffs this year and continue to put players in the NFL, I think a lot of blue chip and top transfers will seriously consider CU for 26. And I think a lot of those 26 guys are going to wait the season out to see what happens. I do. And when we're competing at a high level and we're doing that, I think that's what's going to happen. Did hear what the O-line Holloway we offered. These feel like that. Yeah, I would agree on that. Holloway being offered, I think, was a big one as well. I can't find no tape on him, but he's fantastic size. Mold him, train him for a year or two. He'll be ready for Juju sophomore season. And I do agree. I want depth. I want to have a runway of linemen ready to go next year so we don't have to prioritize the entire line in the transfer portal. And I think we're doing that, okay? We've got Chauncey Gooden here. I think that next year he absolutely could be a starter. Cardi Smith, I think, could be our right tackle next year. Absolutely. Okay? Oh, see, these are good ones. These are good ones right here. Keith coming in with the $5 super chat. Why all the attention is leaning over at California all of a sudden? Give you 2 words. Domata Pecco. You got to realize that Pecco was brought in and he is a Southern California staple. So if there is anybody that's really kind of bringing the spotlight to California, it's going to be Domata Pecco. And Colorado, yeah, they were just at St. John Bosco's spring practice. They had a huge amount of people there. So Domata Pecco, Brett Bartolone, they are both going to be big reasons why California pipeline is going to start to open up again. Okay, guys, because most of Coach Prime's staff are the Florida, Georgia, Texas pipeline. Bringing in Domata Pecco was very, very strategic when it comes to California and Southern California. And we know that Southern California is going to be well known for your defensive linemen, your offensive linemen, of course, the Polynesian culture that comes from the Southern California area. And then, don't give a damn brings us up, but I was just saying that Brett Bartolone also has ties to California guys. So we're going to see a new rigorous jump in the pipeline for California now that we have those guys who know that backyard well. They know the coaches there. They know the high schools. They know where to go find untapped talent. Of course, you're going to see the top talent from the state of California. Those are easy. But finding the diamonds in a rough in California is now going to be much higher on that. D-Nice with the $5. I appreciate you, D-Nice. Oregon players couldn't sell a used car, let alone a Nike stock. I hope you said sock. Would have been funnier with a sock, D-Nice. But I agree on that. Okay. Besides maybe your quarterback, how many guys at Oregon are household names? And I'm not talking again. Whenever I say these things, guys, I don't mean to a lot of you guys. You're college football fans. You know a lot more than the average person. But I can tell you that more people know guys on Colorado's roster than your normal college football fan. And that says a lot about endorsements and who's going to endorse you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see what we got. Yep, Bartolone is him. We needed him. Brett is a guy that we need to keep in this. If Brett leaves, that's not going to be a good thing. Ever. Brett recruiting his ass off to get the good tight ends to come to the school that don't feature tight end play. Man, Brett gets in his bag. And he's obviously telling them and showing them things that they like. Okay, again, it goes back to what I've been saying about the recruiting as far as how this season's going to go. There are some players that are still probably on the fence. They're like, you talk a good game. I love what Brett's saying. I love what Shermer's saying. I love what Falk is saying, but I need to see it. I want to see it to believe it. Now, other players like your Gavin Mueller is like, I see it already. I'm ready to commit. I love what I'm seeing. But some of the other ones are on the fence and they want to make sure. And guys like Deacon and Breck, I think Matt has probably told them like, hey, you need to wait and see what happens because they've been telling me this stuff for a while. Nothing's changed. See what happens this season. Don't rush into the decision. There's no reason to commit early. I think it's absolutely stupid. Gavin Mueller, thank you for committing. Thank you for giving me some news to talk about. But if we're being honest, there's no reason as a high schooler to commit until you're ready at the end of the season. Okay? There's no reason to commit right now. You're still going to take visits. You're still going to go around. Why commit? You know why you commit? For the attention. That's why you commit right now. Or the bag, because we all know that USC gives out bags for kids to commit super early without a guarantee that they're staying. Okay? We know that's a thing. We've literally heard that directly. So there's that. Hey, appreciate you. Let's go, Lady C. Smash that like. Are we already up to 100 likes? Man, I didn't think today was going to be that big of a day as far as people watching just because there's not much going on. But I appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of the show today. I love the communication that we're having. Mike, I want to go back to your original comment that I think I missed because of the super chats. I wanted to hear what you had to say. You get Omaha Steak named after you, Nebraska. They deliver any place in the USA. I haven't seen them mentioned since they lost their bowl game any place nationally. Who are we talking about here? I hope you're not saying Colorado because we're getting mentioned every day in the news. May not be always good, may be bad. That's okay. Matt said Breck is a long shot unless the focus to make them priority. Yes, but Breck said on Matt's show to Matt that he is waiting until October to make a decision. Bingo. Yes, of course. Focus and priority. Okay. Make him a focus and priority. Talk to him every day. Show him what's going to happen to this team. Show him how he fits and just keep pushing at it. We got plenty of time. Now the flip side is Brett probably don't have to recruit 4 to 5 players every year, so he can be hyper-focused on a couple. That's true too, King John. That's a very good point. Very good point. Love it. You've been living in a cave for the last several months. The draft? I mean, Colorado did have 4 players drafted. How many did Nebraska have drafted again? I think 2. I think 2 players drafted. Ha. Ha ha. I love it. I love the rivalries. You mean they paying? Nebraska fans are so mad at how big CU has gotten overnight. That's the big one. I still think I agree with that. I think Deacon is a silent commit for Colorado. I think he's talked to Coach Prime about that. I think Breck is a wait and see, and he wants the focus to be on him. But I think Deacon is I think he is. I would agree on that. Out of the 2, I think Deacon's much more likely to come here. So there we go. Okay, what else you got? But Russ, Nebraska has that light show, which is awesome. So remember what I said about recruits coming to Colorado and seeing what it's like and being like, oh, I could see myself there. Yeah, Nebraska has the opposite problem. They try not to get kids to come on official visits and try to get them to commit before they come, because once you go to Lincoln and see what the town looks like, you immediately are like, it's probably not going to happen. Give me some money and maybe I'll come, but trust me, as somebody that has been to Lincoln and been to Nebraska football games, the atmosphere on game day is second to none, but the rest of the week, that town, ghost town. Okay. Just no. I'm just going to say it again. No. Even the social media page is bigger than most SEC teams. Absolutely. 1.1 million followers. Not a lot of teams have 1 million followers on it. I can agree with this too. I can agree with that too. Think this the last year Saban finna regulate that. Saban retired, but you know that he still has an office there and like does things for the team, right? He still has some say in what's going on at Nebraska. Alabama. We were just talking about Nebraska. Nebraska towns look like Tombstone. Winky wink. Oh, I love it. I love the Nebraska talk. Guys. We're still there. Presidential Commission on College Sports. That's true. Saban sounds like he's going to have some kind of say in this. We'll see. Seriously, the light show is pretty fire. Can't even front. I hope CU puts together. Oh, King John, like I said, the atmosphere on a game day in Nebraska is second to none. The light show, the amount of fans they push in there, how loud it is, just the overall atmosphere and feeling. I will say that Nebraska is second to none when it comes to a college football game day. I will admit that. But success needs to happen. And the reason why Nebraska has not seen the type of success that they should is probably because partially that town, coaching, decisions like that. That's where it's at. Russ, he's the co-commission along with Texas Tech billionaire. That's right. That's what you're talking about. Okay. Agreed. Agree on that. Have you heard any updates on the pregame show? We should have a lot more cooler theatrics, at least something with the mountains for the nighttime games. I've not heard anything. Nothing's been made public. Behind the scenes, I know that the boosters have been working on stuff, but I don't know if that's for this year. I don't know if that's for following years. I don't know what that looks like yet. I feel like some of that stuff could be installed fairly quickly. It's a little different than that scoreboard that was installed. Obviously, then scoreboard's a big deal. Plus, they are prioritizing that turf. That's kind of been the big upgrade focus this year, is getting that turf installed and the field. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen. Are you going to go to any? Yes, I am. Obviously, I'm going to be in the backyard. The plan is to get some single game tickets. I was going to get season tickets, but that's not going to happen now. I just want to save a little bit and maybe go next year. But I also found out one of our good friends has season tickets, and they've already said that I can have a couple games. Because they know about this channel. They know that I'm covering the team now, and they're longtime season ticket holders at CU, have a tailgating spot, all of that. And they immediately reached out to me once we were moving back and said, hey, tickets, let us know. So for sure, going to be going to games. Did you know we're losing 16 defensive players next year, most on the D-line? I can imagine that. I don't think we have a lot of eligibility left on players. So I could see that, absolutely. DJ, Preston for sure. Jaheim, Torian Carter, I think. I'm just going down who I think will be starting, and those guys are going to be gone next year. I think Arden might be without any eligibility after this year. There's a lot. Yes, we're absolutely losing a ton of guys next year. We need more than just half a running game, lazy Buffalo. I was just about to say that next year's D-line low-key will need some attention sooner than most think. I think the key is going to be the development of our younger players. This is what you guys have been wanting. Okay? You wanted the young players to step up and be starters. So guys like London Merritt, Alex McPherson, guys like Brandon Davis Swain, young guys that have been here, that will have been here for a year or two, stepping up and taking those spots. That's what we want to see on the defense, and I think we'll start seeing that next year. They're going back to the portal instead of developing. That is not sustainable, except we are developing. It's just some of those kids end up leaving because they want to start now when they're not ready, and notice where they're going. To everybody out there that thinks, oh, we can't, the kids are leaving before we can develop. They don't want to sit for 2 years. No kid wants to sit on this team for 2 years. Texas versus Ohio State played at 12 noon. That is dumb as hell. They don't have a lot of younger guys in the D-line room. CU's going back in the portal again. I just named a couple. We have more. I can go down the list. You want me to? Fine. We'll go Colorado spring roster. Let's take a look at the D-line and where they are on the team. Okay, so we've got... We'll go through it, but I think you got a lot more than you think. But the question is, are they going to, develop in time? So Keaton Wade, I think he's got another year of eligibility after this year, so we might have him for 2. Who else we got? Martavis French, he's leaving. We've obviously got Mantrez Walker coming back as just a freshman. Kylan Salter will be here for 2 years minimum. As it stands, London Merritt, obviously a freshman. Quincy Wiggins is still a junior. He's got more eligibility left. He'll be here for multiple years. Arden Walker, it does look like he's only got 1. We still got Gage Goldberg here. Let's see. We still got Nikhil Webb Walker, who's coming off of that cancer. He's going to eventually come back. He's got a couple years of eligibility left. Let's see. Where's the rest of our Amari McNeil going into his senior year, but I think he has an extra year left. Okay, Torian Carter definitely done. Jaheim Otis is only a junior, by the way. He's got 2 years eligibility, guys. Jaheim Otis has got 2 years eligibility. Brandon Davis Swain, redshirt freshman, 4 years of eligibility. Okay. Sam Okunlola, he's got 2 years of eligibility. Let's see. Tafiq, he's got a year of eligibility, so he's gone. Christian Hudson, we forgot about him, guys. He was a freshman recruit. He is a freshman. Alex McPherson, freshman. Gabriel Lightfoot, he's got 2 years, it looks like. And that's the whole team. Like, there's not as many as you think that are going to be gone. I think it's mostly the secondary where a lot of guys are leaving. That's where it's at. You think he's going to go pro with an extra year remaining? I don't know. If anything, Chidoze's kind of situation maybe says to go another year. We'll see. We'll see. If he leaves after this year, it means he had a great year, and that means Colorado had a great year. So there's that part of it too. Can't wait to see Wiggins for sure. Let's see what else we got. We're always going to have portal guys. Like, I don't get where you guys understand that we're going to add 15 to 20 portal guys minimum every year. Every year. It's called competition. That's the type of player that Prime wants. But Russ, if any of them have a good year, they leaving. I just love the mental gymnastics that sometimes occur out there with how this team works. Like, okay, we want a successful season. Yeah, they're probably going to leave. They're probably going to go to the NFL early. That's just how that works. That's how college sports work. That's where it's at. I mean, they're there, but they're there. If they develop, they will start. It's not our fault that some of those guys want to leave and go play elsewhere and want less competition. That's not our fault. It's not like all of them left. Did Micah leave? Did Micah Welsh leave after his freshman year? He's developing. Did Draylon leave? No, he's developing. The guys who are developing, developing are staying. The guys who are not ready for that competition and not ready to continue that are leaving. Simple as that. Why would they stop going in the portal? Exactly. The portal is here to stay, guys. Half your team is going to be portal players. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be. Stopping going in the portal is going to be so dumb. We need 50 more likes to get to 100. Smash that like. I'd appreciate it. If you're watching this later on, I'd appreciate this. He can't even stay healthy. It was one season. I'd understand if this was year 2 and he didn't play again, but it was 1 year. Like, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll be the first one to say the running back room bites if they bite, but I'm going to see what happens. I've liked what I've seen out of Adalyn Hayden. I've liked what I've seen out of Micah when he's on the field. You know, I like what I see in DeKalon Taylor. I really do. But people are not patient at all. That's society we live in right now, if we're being honest. That is considered animal or can be. It's a damn bird. That's nothing special. We see birds flying all the time. What are we talking about with the buffalo? Looks like Coach Prime may be going with mostly IMG players, specialized portal pickups. Here's why I love the IMG pipeline, guys. Because if Coach Prime is looking for freshmen who are going to come in and make immediate impacts or make immediate impacts year 2 so that we don't have to worry about them leaving because they don't have a spot because they're not ready, IMG. They get treated like college players already. They get prepared to be a college player before they even get here. It's like we're getting a transfer portal player in the IMG players. And I love that Colorado is just rolling out the wagon when it comes to IMG offers. Because I have a good feeling about every IMG player we get. I do. I have a good feeling. And the relationship we've built with Cliff Hill at IMG, the connections we have there, it is probably the smartest thing to do that. See, you've been offering a lot of Cali players. It won't be an isolated class at all. Nope. That's why we brought in Domata Peko. We brought in Peko to recruit California, guys. We truly did, and you're going to see that pick up. You really are. Man, that running back room's hit or miss thing this year. Like, if they're not hitting on nothing, the quarterbacks are definitely going to pass for more over 3,000 yards for sure. Well, and we got to realize the quarterback's going to do a lot of the running too. That's just the way it is. I don't know if we need a breakout running back at this point. We need a guy who can hit the holes and gain a couple yards per carry and not be negative. We got to be somebody who can be in there and, take the yards when it's there. But the quarterback's going to run the ball a lot too. That's where a majority of our rushing yards are going to come from, if I'm being truly honest with you guys. But hey, rushing yards are rushing yards. And if they're running the option, if they're running the read option, and Caden's running the ball, there you go. That's where it's at. Okay, guys, we're about an hour. I can't believe we went an hour. I appreciate Northside right before the end. I gotta shout you out for sure. My honest feeling about the freshman Walker, he don't fit defense scheme. CU want fast linebacker. Are you talking about Mantrez? I think he's going to take time to develop, Northside. I don't think that he is a day one starter, and I think he knows that. I think he's ready to come in and develop and do what he needs to do to become the player that they want. But go watch his tape, because his ability to find the holes when it comes to chasing down running backs is very good at the high school level. He is cerebral. There is one thing to just be fast. You've also got to be cerebral when it comes to the linebacker. And Montrezl Walker is that. He will develop. He's not ready yet. Okay? He's not ready yet. And I think that's where we're at. I appreciate that comment, though. I absolutely get what you're talking about when that comes. I don't think that Montrezl is going to make an impact this year right away. I think he's going to take some time, and I think he can develop into that. I think next year he could be a much bigger impact on this team. We need consistent O-line that make holes that grandma can run through. That's it. Make it easy on the running backs. They don't have to be the top guys when it comes to that. Walker just needs to stay in that weight room and he'll be a James Harrison. Yeah, I truly believe what I've seen out of his tape, you can't teach that. What you can do is develop his body and develop his speed a little more to make him even more impactful at that level. Okay? At that level, 100%. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show today. Thank you guys so much always for the support. I will be back Monday. Somebody asked when I'm moving. I'm not moving until the middle of June. So you'll start to see probably some more boxes start to pile up, and we might have some low quality streams coming up. But I will be moving about middle of June, and we'll do some low quality streams. I have some plans to upgrade my setup in the new location. So be on the lookout for that. I think you guys are going to really appreciate it. The quality of this is going to go way up. Plan to get a new camera, plan to get some new lighting. Gonna set up my office more conducive for the streams, so you'll have a nice background, all that stuff. I appreciate you guys so much. It's because of your support. Like, you guys watching the channel, I get a little bit of money. It's a very, very small amount, but I put it all back into the channel. Gonna be upgrading everything, getting things ready, and doing more things now that I'll be in the backyard. That's the hope. So getting you some more on the boots, on the ground type stuff. I'm hoping. We'll see. We'll see. But keep supporting the channel and I'll keep bringing it to you. So for Buffs News Weekly Live, I appreciate you guys so much. I'm Russ. Sko Buffs.